I swear.
But it feels a little unstable.
Day 7. There's something about the morning light in Oaxaca that makes you want to stay just one more day. It comes in golden and unhurried, like the city itself has no interest in rushing anything. I'm closing the door on this room, and honestly, closing the door on one of my favorite chapters of this whole trip. Oaxaca got under my skin. The food, the colors, the noise, the quiet, all of it. But that's the thing about traveling with a group. You don't really get to be sentimental for long. We load into the van, and Suze, our tour director, is already in full-on itinerary mode. I love that about her. It doesn't matter what time it is, she is on. And as Oaxaca slowly peels away outside the window, I find myself thinking about this group of people I've been sharing this journey with. By day 7, you stop being strangers. The road opens up, the valley spreads wide. And somewhere ahead of us, a 2,000-year-old tree is waiting.
Everyone couldn't remember what.
We tried the...
Okay, nothing prepares you for the Árbol del Tule. I'd seen photos. I thought I knew what to expect. I did not. Suze is explaining its history, that this tree is over 2,000 years old, that it holds the record as the heaviest living tree on the planet. And I'm only half listening, because my neck is craned back. And my brain has completely stopped working. This tree was already ancient when Rome was building its Colosseum. It has watched entire civilizations come and go. Empires, invasions, revolutions. This tree has outlived all of it. Rooted in the same patch of Mexican earth, completely unbothered. You walk around the trunk, and I mean walk, it takes a while. And every angle reveals something different. The bark is wild, almost sculptural. It feels alive in a way that goes beyond biology. Standing next to it, you feel genuinely small, not in a bad way. In the way that reminds you that the world is so much older and stranger and more magnificent than everyday life lets you remember.
I think that's a little bit too much.
About 20 minutes from Árbol del Tule, the van turns into this small village, Teotitlán del Valle. We're welcomed into a family reading workshop. And our host, Señora Viridiana, is extraordinary. She carries this knowledge the way the weavers here always have, with quiet pride and complete mastery.
I'm fourth generation.
She starts by showing us something I did not expect. An insect, tiny, barely visible, living on the pads of a cactus. This is the cochineal scalebug. And when you crush it between your fingers, it bleeds the most vivid saturated crimson you have ever seen in your life. And when you mix that carmine with different elements, lemon juice, baking soda, clay, it shifts. Purple, orange, pink.
Oh, wow.
Then Viridiana showed us how wool is being brushed and prepared for spinning.
Look at now the way how it's getting lighter and the gray gets much darker.
We move to the dye pots, these big, gorgeous, bubbling cauldrons of color.
Alumbre. This is kind of salt. To set the color. So when this earlier, I throw this and dissolves in here. The water.
And then to the loom itself.
And why this?
Watching an artisan weave is meditative. Your eyes follow the thread, the foot pedals. The hands moving with this unconscious fluency that only comes from doing something your whole life that your parents did before you.
4 months.
Every pattern in these textiles is a story, a symbol, a piece of Zapotec language that predates Spanish by centuries. You're not just looking at a rug, you're reading something ancient. Next stop, Mezcal. A mezcalero named Señor Amaro welcomed us into his family distillery. He walked us through the whole process from the very beginning. The agave hearts, the piñas, go into a pit in the ground. Buried with firewood and hot rocks and roasted slowly. When we stood at the edge of that pit, I could still feel the heat radiating up. It smells earthy and smoky and extraordinary. From there, the piñas are crushed to release the pulp, then moved into these massive wooden barrels to ferment, and then distillation. Amaro told us that during distillation, the mezcalero has to watch it constantly. You cannot walk away. The fire, the timing, the proof, it all has to be right. There's something deeply human about that. All this technology we live with, and the best mezcal in the world still requires someone to stand there and watch. Then came the tasting. We tried several different batches, each one slightly different in smokiness, sweetness, complexity.
Taste is not much difference from the.
And then Amaro brought out the one with the worm, the gusano, a white larva that lives on the agave plant. It doesn't really change the flavor dramatically. Some people said they could taste an earthy depth. Others maintained it was purely a textural experience. Squishy was the word used. We raised our glasses. We laughed. It was a genuinely perfect morning.
The bubble wrap.
Ya pagó el señor también.
We had lunch. I tried sopa de chapulines, grasshopper soup. Smoky, earthy, a little citrusy. The texture is closer to dried shrimp. And then loaded back into the van for what was supposed to be a smooth 4-hour journey south. About an hour in, a truck ahead of us lost one of its cargo. A massive agave piña, just launched off the back, straight into our path. It hit the van hard enough to damage the radiator. And suddenly, our journey to Tehuantepec became something altogether more adventurous. The van was leaking coolant continuously for 2 hours. So every half hour or so, we'd pull over somewhere on the side of a Mexican highway to refill the water. And honestly, some of those stops were stunning. Mountains, dry golden valleys. The kind of landscape that reminds you that Mexico is enormous and ancient and wild. There's something about shared inconvenience that bonds people faster than anything planned ever could. It got dark, the road kept going. And slowly, Tehuantepec appeared on the horizon. We arrived late, later than anyone planned.
2:15.
We hauled our bags out of the van, found our rooms, and collapsed into exhaustion. Tomorrow, we cross into Chiapas. I can't wait to show you what's next. See you tomorrow.